Welcome to another episode of the Co-Mental Podcast. You're joined by your hosts Muyo and Dez, and today we are discussing what sort of links autism has with certain genetic disorders like IBS and
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
and Rett syndrome and other
Rett.
syndromes. Yeah,
What's
there's
that?
a link. Well, good thing that you asked, because I do have some articles pulled up. If I can find the specific one that mentions Rett syndrome. All right, so Rett syndrome. The classic form of Rett syndrome is a disorder that predominantly affects females. Girls develop normally at first, then lose their developmental milestones, developing problems walking, beginning seizures, and developing an intellectual disability. The severity and age of onset varies from child to child. Most cases are de novo, meaning a new event, and not inherited from a parent. Classic Rett syndrome is caused by a change in the gene MECP2. So it lists that back in the DSM-4, it was considered a part of autism. But in the current DSM-5 edition, it's no longer automatically considered a part of autism spectrum disorder, but they are linked. So people with autism spectrum disorder are more likely to have developed Rett syndrome.
Interesting. And you said it's predominantly...
predominantly female.
Wow.
But there's an atypical version that can affect males or females and is characterized by developmental regression, very little speech, and seizures that develop early in childhood. And there are several genes that are associated with Rett-like syndromes, and consideration of multiple genes is necessary whenever there's developmental regression or seizures. So there's some overlap. Yeah, there are whole articles by the National Library of Medicine and UCLA that sort of describe these genetic links and the sort of statistics behind the likelihood of a person developing both at the same time. So I thought it was a fascinating subject to talk about because we both grew up with gastrointestinal issues.
Yes.
And for me, I still experience them sometimes, but not quite as much as I had back in childhood. It was mostly for me stomach aches and constipation. But I believe that you still experience some gastrointestinal issues yourself, even into adulthood.
Yes. Sometimes more severe than other experiences, but it also goes by, food sensitivities as well, which can be also a common theme with neurodivergent people and specifically autistic people. Actually, our friend Hayden, I know he has not IBS, but he has issues with milk and dairy, like lactose intolerance. And I find that really interesting. But for me, it's not even milk. There's times where carbonation, acidic drinks, coffee, of course, all those can cause me stomach issues. But water, fine.
It would be concerning if water caused issues. Yeah. Although some people are actually allergic to water, which is horrifying. And Godspeed to them, because oh my goodness.
How do you... You're an anomaly. How do you...
So many... every drink in existence has water in it. It's I could not imagine I imagine they would have to be on some sort of like antihistamine for it to
Mm.
prevent like an allergic reaction.
Oh yeah.
I
Damn.
just, I don't know. Allergic reactions in general are just horrifying in general.
I immediately
I
thought
hate it.
of the character from SpongeBob that's in the chair that's tried out.
Oh my
That's what
god.
Oh no.
Because, like, the human body is made up of about roughly 70% water.
Right.
And so it's like, how does your body just
What
decide it hates water? It's literally mostly water.
it grew in an amniotic fluid sac.
Like, for real.
It
Uh,
drank it.
the human body is both a marvel and fucking
Weird.
stupid.
Yeah. Wow, your fucking body's weird. You got a weird body. You can't fucking drink water. What a pleb.
Imagine not being able to drink water. Couldn't be me.
But
That's why. That's why I drink Monster.
and that's why I drink coffee.
Caffeine,
Every,
caffeine.
every kiss begins to crack.
Asthma crack.
I smoke crack. I used to smoke crack.
I smoke crack cocaine.
Oh yeah.
Like the one commercial.
I also think of the damn dinosaur puppet. Crack cocaine. That's a good one too.
Oh,
We're
that's
supposed to be
beautiful.
talking about something.
Yes. Yes.
Things.
Yeah, we kind of. Yeah, the last thing we left off at was
Crack.
gastrointestinal issues.
I mean,
And
both kind of deal with crack. One is cocaine, and the other one goes out of your crack. So,
yeah, I guess so.
yeah.
Yeah, so this webinar from the Autism Research Institute is about 50 minutes long. I didn't watch it because I'll be honest, I kind of found it like a half an hour before we started recording,
Uh,
but it delves into the relationship between autism and like the gut biome, and it
oh
is
wow.
very
Okay.
fascinating. There's also an article by the National Library of Medicine that it's not a webinar, it's a whole ass study and like includes a lot of different sources, and it's very in depth and actually very fascinating. And it has pictures too, which is helpful.
Oh,
Um
we love that.
yeah, so one of the leading theories and sort of ideas as to how and why people with autism spectrum disorder may be more likely to develop gut issues is because there seems to be a disconnect or a difficulty of communication between the brain and the intestines.
Ooh.
So there's something called the brain gut microbiome axis, which plays an important role in autism spectrum disorder. Differences exist in the gut microbiome of typically developing children compared to children with autism spectrum disorder. However, these changes to the microbial community are affected by differences in diet, medication regimens, medical comorbidities, geographic location, and both acute and chronic GI symptoms. In addition, the brain gut microbiome axis is bidirectional with regard to changes in both the gut and behavior.
Mm.
So the two affect each other, and it makes sense given the differences in development that people with autism spectrum disorder have, like when it comes to behavioral development, like, neurological development. It can have an impact on the gut microbiome as well,
Mm.
which would explain why IBS seems to be more prevalent, or people with autism are more likely to develop IBS.
Mm.
Not necessarily a genetic factor per se, but it's
Though
more of
it
a
could be. It could
Oh,
in
it could
like
be. Yeah.
factor in.
But it gives credence to the idea that it could be like more of, it could also be like a factor of like how a child develops. And of course, like, because there's a link, it doesn't have to be autism spectrum disorder that affects the gut, the brain gut microbiome axis.
Mm-hmm.
Other circumstances that can affect a child's development, I think, could also have a similar effect that autism could have, like
Mm-hmm.
trauma or things of that
Right.
nature.
Because trauma in the nervous system go hand in hand, especially with PTSD or CPTSD, and people who are autistic or undiagnosed tend to um, develop CPTSD because the way that the world is, gestures. Um, but when you're talking about the miscommunication and misfiring between the brain and the stomach and the whole nervous system, how it plays into each other, adding adding trauma in with autism would even make it more chaotic.
Oh, absolutely.
I shit a lot. Well, I take that back. Like, what's so funny is like growing up, I had a lot of anxiety with pooping, like, in public. And I would have a lot of, gas buildup and would be in strenuous pain. I wouldn't go poop until I got home, like all day. And then, I stopped doing that. Once I hit college, I was like, okay, gotta stop doing that. I gotta do the do. And I feel like that's partially for me personally why I have like stomach issues. But now it's instead of it being um what is it? Like regulation, like poop. Um but it's now what I do eat though. Like it's definitely the sensitivity that goes into effect instead of my nervous system. But yeah, with like autistic people or people who have like PTSD, if they're constantly living in a fight or flight or freeze response, their bodies are gonna like hold on to um it's not going to feel safe to function because let's
Mhm.
be honest, your body doesn't think, hey, when I'm running or when I'm scared I'm going to shit myself.
Yeah. It's the
Only when
sort
you're
of
dead.
like, yeah, because the muscles give out.
Yeah.
They just all go, you know, they just stop. Pretty morbid.
Release in peace, baby.
Hmm.
Mm.
um, okay. I was gonna add to that. But
Oh,
what was I gonna say?
do you also poop a lot?
Yeah. Um, well, yes. That wasn't necessarily what I was gonna add, but I do poop a lot, yes. At least once a day. Sometimes more.
That was perfect. I also want to add to that too, you also got to think like with autistic people, especially if they have like foods that are comfort foods and it's like a type of food, they're not getting the nutrients they need. And then it's like,
That's the other factor that the study actually touches on that I
what was that?
referenced from the National Library, uh, National Library of Medicine. Yes, they
Hmm.
touch on the fact that people, because one of the common things with, especially as a child with autism, is that you only really want to eat certain foods, and that can affect the diversity of your gut as well. Because, like you said, you're not really getting all the nutrients you would normally be getting
Hmm.
if if you had a more, I guess, varied
Like
palate.
a balanced,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
Now,
that is definitely a factor too.
how does that play into like infants and like kids that are at least up to 3 years old? Because um, when you think about how, because you're trying to get them to try foods, you're trying to get them to expand their palate a little bit, and if they start showing like a lot of aversions to things, or meltdowns, or just typical autistic behaviors, how do you distinguish that and discern that between autism versus natural child issues? And I think I've told you this before about my experience with certain foods and textures and being forced to eat certain things that I didn't really want to eat. um your relationship with food is very important, for anyone. And um I could see like where kids would be, for example, malnourished, with autism, and their adversities to certain foods. Um, I just wonder how a parent would approach that, um, with kids in that sort of development. Um, Being an adult and being a teenager and all that is different than, relying on someone. So,
Yeah, that's a good point. And I would be curious too, because I really honestly don't know
mm.
how a parent would handle that.
My parents made me drink Pediasure Light when I was a kid because I was malnourished. I don't know
Hmm.
if that really had anything to do. When I was a kid, I didn't like eating a lot of meat, so that could have been, yeah.
Certain meats contain, well, especially red meat contains iron and, well, protein as well.
I was like, no blood for me.
Who needs red blood cells, right?
And I literally have a heart condition. They were trying, man.
Oh boy.
They were trying. I was like, uh-uh. But my mom would feed me raw meat, and I like that. So I don't.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
weird texture
What
shit.
an interest. I still don't understand why your mom thought that was okay.
She was just like, here, try this, see if you like it. And I did. I don't know, man. Because
Children, man.
when I was a kid, okay, in a version of mine as a kid, I didn't like seasoned things or things that felt like it was too spicy, which could have been a version.
I could make a joke about that, but I'm not.
Do it,
I
do it,
don't
do
know.
it, do it.
It's probably because of how white you are.
I mean, valid. It's not the fact that they try to punish me by making me drink hot sauce by any means.
Oh, not at all. No.
Yeah.
There's no trauma behind that. No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Um.
I just, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like. Damn, you're making me have a lot of insight right now, and I'm like, God dang it.
Welcome to the Commental Podcast, where we
Hi.
give each other insight
Yeah.
unintentionally or intentionally.
Okay, let me ask you this. When you were growing up and what you researched about like food and gas stational like issues, did you ever personally experience like struggles in your younger years?
Like specifically with gastrointestinal issues.
Um, it can be. I mean, like also if you had food aversions, how did that affect your development?
Ooh. Now, definitely I've had gastrointestinal issues of some description. I wouldn't say it was something like IBS, but
Oops.
I did IBS. But
Oops.
I did definitely deal with constipation growing up, like
Mm.
as a child. I recall pooping once a week,
Oh my gosh.
which is crazy.
I've never
And
had that issue. I'm like, I
growing
would. Mm-mm.
growing up, I thought that was normal because I mean, as a kid, you only have your own perspective to go on, and I'm just like, yeah, this is normal. It's like once a week, I just have the worst shits of my life because
Oh
everything's so backed up, and it's just like, yep, no, that's normal.
my gosh.
And somehow some I'm guessing maybe it was diet related because I don't have that issue at as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing like there was some kind of like diet that I just wouldn't eat certain foods, and my parents, I honestly don't know how they handled it really. I
I
mean,
don't know.
well,
I'm interested to how your mom handled it because she's a big foodie. So like,
yeah. So that's the problem is that I don't really remember. I can't really recall much of like. I mean, so like I loved McDonald's as a kid,
same.
and obviously I
Chicken
remember that.
nuggies.
I remember eating McDonald's the most out of everything.
Yes.
So, but it's definitely not all that I've eaten. Like I've. So it's just weird. I don't know. But I do know that like I didn't like.
I didn't like pepperoni growing up.
Actually, I liked pepperoni growing up, but because my bio dad is Muslim, we
Mm.
weren't allowed to eat pork. But
Oh shit.
that didn't stop me from eating pork at school. I just wouldn't tell my dad.
Fuck you, Dad. I'm having some pork.
And
Pork you, Dad.
and also close to my parents, when my parents divorced, he my bio dad would be away from home a lot, and
Yeah.
so my mom started buying like pepperoni for me and
She was
my
like, I don't give a
siblings.
fuck.
Yeah, as long as she obviously we couldn't tell our bio dad because we would get in deep shit, so we just kept it to ourselves. And shit, I fucking loved pepperoni. Like
Fucking
I could
pepperoni.
fucking man, I fucking love that shit. Even now, I could like literally get one of those like little bags of
Mm-hmm.
pepperoni slices and just eat them by themselves like all
And you
night.
know what? You know what's weird is like I didn't like pepperoni on stuff, but like I don't like warm
Hmm.
pepperoni, but cold pepperoni out of the fridge in the bag
There's a
hits
different, yeah.
different. Yeah.
There, it hits different. I agree. I prefer cold pepperoni too.
Yeah.
It's similar to
Now,
cold salami for me, which is what I also like a lot.
when I was a kid, I used to take hot dogs and peel the skin off first and then eat it.
I did the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I did the same with corn dogs because I never liked the,
Same.
yeah, because the only part of the corn dog I liked was the hot dog. I didn't like
Oh,
any of the batter.
mine's the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, as a kid, I hated eating both the batter and the hot dog. It did not make any. As a kid, okay, here's the thing. Here is an interesting thing that I, about like certain foods growing up and that I don't really have nowadays because I guess I grew out of it or something. But
Felt
cereal. So, did your parents ever like mix cereals if they were like low,
no, thank
like
God.
from? Well, you see, my mom did, uh, and I hated it.
Take her to jail.
I couldn't like I couldn't stand it growing up. It's like even if the cereals were similar-ish or at least had a
Hmm.
similar flavor profile, I still hated it. I couldn't stand if I knew that they were two different kinds of cereals mixed in together. I no, it I could not. I wouldn't eat
See,
it.
and the reason why that just sounds so disgusting to me is because, let alone cereal, like I love cereal when it's still like soft and crunchy, but I do not like cereal when it's soggy, and I do not like drinking the milk after cereal. So to me, all I can think about is all those conflicting flavors.
That's understandable. I think certain cereals do go together at least. Like Fruit Loops and Fruity Pebbles are
Okay.
almost the same thing
And then like
essentially.
Cocoa Puffs and chocolate pebbles or Reese's Pieces.
Yes.
Mm,
Oh my god, yes.
I can see that.
Fucking bomb. Ugh,
The chocolate like flavored cereals just went hard.
they did. I I eat healthier cereals nowadays, but I still find myself buying um either there is a specific there's like protein cereals that you can buy. Yeah,
Hmm.
they like the one that I buy has like 20 grams of protein per serving, but they have like a chocolate version which is fucking good. It's like almonds with chocolate flakes. It tastes so good. Oh my god.
This is such an off like topic to a degree, but you made me think about this. Can anyone find the science behind why macaroni slaps, but only if it's like in different pasta shapes? Like it can't be like the standard um macaroni shape or swirls or anything like that, but it has to be like
The shells.
characters. Not even the
Not
shells.
even the
I
shells.
love the shells though, but
Okay.
because I used to make those suction to my tongue when I was growing up.
I did too. Yeah.
The but I'm specifically talking about like the SpongeBob shaped macaroni and cheese. So like it's the type of pasta where
I've
it's
had
just
those
good.
I've had those before. They used to make them in little cups too, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah. I remember that, yeah.
Also, the cups just slap harder too.
They did. They did.
Yeah,
And I yeah.
that was my autistic food was mac and cheese. I could eat a whole pan of it. Bowl. I almost said bong. I don't know why. A bing bong.
A whole bong of macaroni and cheese.
Sounds like something that would be done
that
under that.
yeah. It definitely, yeah. That's I'm sure someone's done that before.
Have you ever tried sour cream on on top of pizza, but specifically Tostitos pizza?
Sour cream?
Yeah.
I've had ranch with
Oh yeah,
pizza,
that's not bad.
but
What am I
I actually
saying?
haven't had. I don't think I've had sour cream with pizza before, or
Sounds
pizza
good.
rolls.
Sounds good. Well, it's not
That does
pizza
sound
rolls,
pretty good.
specifically the pizza.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fair. It
Yeah.
does sound good though. I mean, I like ranch on pizza, so I'm sure I would like sour cream and pizza.
But I like some of the stuff that you've talked about, like as far as autism and food aversions and how it correlates to development of a child in their food in their like body, and how some parents know how to work around that. Some parents kind of just try to force as well, which is never a good idea for any kid, um, specifically autistic kids, because we just learn to like not trust our wants. Then by that point, um,
Yeah,
I have a very unhealthy like um view of foods, not in a like it's gonna make me fat kind of way, but more of like if when I used to when I was younger and I used to eat in front of people, like I've told you how like eating would take a long time for me, and I used to get like really embarrassed of like how I drink certain things because I gulp so loud. So I would always be called out for those things. So if I, like the anxiety of already eating around new people, and then you don't really want to eat because if you do, or you don't want to drink because if you do, you're going to be like outcasted and made fun of. Um, but uh, some of the stuff, like for me, like growing up with my family when it came to food was always I feel like was a lot of pushback with like things that I wanted to eat. And now looking back, I think to some degree it was out of, care for me to grow like they're responsible for me sort of thing. But I wish like people would have just had like more given more time and patience to understand like the I guess the mental challenges of that, you know. Um when it comes to bodily functions, yeah. Well, that's where I think like with my one of my mom's boyfriends when I wouldn't eat meat and I like had a hard time with like the seasonings and the textures, and I would get punished for those things like not eating like the full plate. Um I would get spanked for that sort of thing. And then on top of that, like them inspecting like our underwear and things like that to make sure that we were not leaving shit marks like in our underwear and stuff like that. Keep in mind I'm only like 6 or 7 at this time. And um I feel like a lot of that created like an unhealthy relationship with my own body and food and aversions versus uh torsions, no. um things that I did want to eat or stuff of that nature. Like I tend to, that's probably, oh, I never thought about that. That's probably why I never liked using the restroom also, was because I didn't want to get in trouble. Because if I, didn't wipe well enough or things like that, then um, I would get in trouble. And so a lot of kids will, like, you got to think when kids are developing, they're going to start creating meaning to certain behaviors they have or certain things that they try to avoid. And then when you mix autism into that too, that in the nervous system, all I keep thinking is like a child that goes through that who's autistic isn't going to trust their bodily functions either. Um, and that's going to create a whole nother level of dysfunction and uh, lack of communication, within the body. Not trusting like their body and what signals it's giving them.
Right.
And that's so fucking crazy. Um, but yeah, like raw meat. I don't understand that.
A tiny little random lore drop, I guess, in the
Sorry.
story of Des. Oh
Um,
no. I meant like the meat part, like the raw meat.
yeah,
Yeah, that was yeah,
I
that
like it raw.
oh god. Um
um,
like specifically that's like one of those like interesting character features of Des.
don't worry about cooking food for dinner. She will just bring it home. It's like a... Okay, here's a texture. I fucking hate
Mhm.
oatmeal.
That's understandable. That's understandable, yeah.
It's like, are you hard? Are you wet? What the fuck? Why are you grainy? But I love grits, so make it make sense. I don't.
The grits are pretty good, yeah. I like grits too. But
What? Yeah.
um I can imagine that experience would affect a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
it does make sense that would impact how you perceive like certain things growing up,
Oh yeah.
because a lot of that, and the common theme with a lot of like mental health stuff is that so many things that happen in childhood sort of just manifests itself later on in life, even in situations where like parents aren't you know out
Mm-hmm.
outright abusing their
Right.
kids. There could still be certain things that happen in a kid's childhood that would affect them later on in life.
We call that
Outs
usually when a parent doesn't mirror their child in the sense of likes and dislikes and emotional regulation and things like that. The child tries to figure out and perceive it in a way that usually they internalize it, so then it becomes traumatic.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very well said.
But okay, so you you were constipated in your childhood. And how did
You could say it was a constant pain.
uh how did you work yourself out of that?
I don't
I,
know.
I learned to give a shit. But really, like, you said that you started eating better, or like you started getting like, um, because you said that. Oh, you know what? I wonder if, was there any foods growing up that besides pork that specifically your dad like what's your relationship with food?
I would say my current relationship with food is, I mean, decent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of my bio dad's sort of rules, as it were, are currently affecting my taste in food nowadays. because
I
I
also
never.
think your mom's a foodie, so I think she also like made sure that
e- Yeah,
you.
yeah. We always got to eat a variety of different foods growing up, so that definitely helped. Like sort out any sort of lingering aversions to certain foods like pork. Although I was never big into ham, like just because ham is I don't like ham.
I remember you saying that. I remember looking at you like the audacity.
But
You
it's
like
like
hot
I
dogs, but not ham.
look. I love I love bacon. Uh I love pork rinds too. Actually,
Mm,
pork rinds are good. Um, and of course, like sausages and salamis and all that. So I mean, it's just ham is just like the one pork thing I really don't like,
mm,
honestly. And I don't know. I guess that really is down to like personal taste for me. But I will say though that I don't like bologna anymore
mm-hmm.
because growing up, that was I ate so much bologna, and now I can't stand it.
It's like me and spaghetti.
Yeah, which is understandable.
I also find that a lot of like my food aversions versus your food aversions are like the opposites because like you love chili. I fucking don't like chili. Like I'll eat it, but like it's not like my favorite thing. But you're like I fucking love chili.
Oh my god, I love a good chili. But I guess like to answer your question, I really don't know at the moment
Mm-hmm.
if like I have any current food aversion, like ones at least that would stem well apart from bologna, I guess, but I can't think of any other food that has been negatively impacted by like my biodad's influence growing up.
So, and on the same topic, Derek, who
Hmm.
he's autistic too, or he has Asperger's, and um, I know like by living with him when I did for the time that I briefly, he was very very selective with the foods he ate throughout the day. And for example, he would only eat like eggs in a basket every morning. I mean, like every single morning. Um, when it came to and it was always like in the morning he would make his food, but when it got to like later half of the day, he would put in like like a fried rice or something like that. Same with my friend Tristan too, which Tristan isn't autistic. He just, he has severe ADHD. So like it's interesting to see. I feel like when it comes to food and diets, especially like as an adult with people who are either, have ADHD or autism, it like you start to see more challenges with like the relationship with food, because growing up it was one thing you didn't really necessarily have to think about because family, mom, dad, they'll usually make food. Some days you won't want it, some days you do. Like for me, my one of my favorite foods as a kid was lasagna, uh, and I love lasagna, and I'll still eat it to this day, But for example, like if it was like beef and noodles one night, I wouldn't want that. Um, but I would have to force myself, of course, to eat it if I want food. But I've noticed also just living with, neurodivergent people is that based off like the groceries, you'll see how selective the food option is. It's by that point, it's like you get what you want, you get what you want. I'm gonna go to the store for what I want, and we're not gonna touch each other's shit unless you ask, because it becomes that selective. But it's interesting, and you can easily see how like people who have autism, especially, and ADHD, how we can miss out on proper vitamin intake and nutrients.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I can relate to that as well. When buying groceries and stuff, I do gravitate towards certain things like by
Mm-hmm.
default. And for the most part, I just buy the same things. And I do try to change things up a little bit, like on the day to day, because like I couldn't imagine eating the same thing day in and day out. I can't. I need variety, man. But definitely part of that I can definitely relate to. So
I like that you said that because when I think of ADHD and I think of like the constant need for like variety or like novelty, is your body is you got to think of it in a way that's like a biomechanical structure. And when you're constantly giving your body different culture foods and um, not like the basic necessities of what it needs, your body learns how to, one, function without, two, um, try to regulate without the things it needs. Um, and people with ADHD especially like to just give their body so many different, like, because ADHD people in particular, we go based off dopamine, like serotonin. We're like, give us what we're craving. And that goes into our impulse buying, but it also goes into what we ingest. Like today, Muyo, I was a dumb bitch. And
oh
at
no.
lunch, I finished my Panda Express, and it was honey walnut, shrimp, fried
Mm-hmm.
rice, and I finished the rest of my Dutch Bros. Can you see why that's a bad mix?
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. In a 45-minute lunch. Yeah, no. I was reaping the not so benefits after that.
Oh, oh
And
dear.
there are times like in a day where I'll eat something, I'll put a weird mixture together. For example, my routine in the morning is to have a chocolate muffin at work. That's been like that every single day. But when we get to breakfast and we get to lunch, it gets really fucking weird, okay? Like my craves are like this and this. And I try to be like practical about it because I'll be like, well, I already have this. But it's like, okay, I know I need electrolyte water, but I already have a Monster over there. So why would I spend money on getting electrolyte when I already have Monster? So then I'm like, okay, but I'll eat chicken. So here's my protein. And then, yeah, then your body's fighting for dear life because, like, what the fuck? How do I regulate? So that's the thing about like ADHD and diets and dopamine, serotonin and shit. It's like, no wonder we put our bodies through the ringer. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's hard out here, man.
It's hard out here living and you think about how everything is set up like in the world. Like you go to the groceries, you go to like fast food joints, you go to everything is so convenient, but you get so many different options that, one, it's like decision paralysis, but on top of it, it's also like novelty galore. And so your body's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're not giving me any stability at all as far as how we're regulating and functioning. And specifically on top of it, like as a female, that's already added on to it because we have to regulate our body because we lose a lot of like iron and stuff like that. So can you imagine like uh so definitely healing like your relationship with food and how your body functions, even as a neurodivergent person, is particularly important because a lot of people with autism and ADHD and other plethora of things can develop a lot of what do they call it? Uh autoimmune disorders. That's
Mm-hmm.
another thing with it too. Yeah. The diet is, I mean, the stomach is a second brain for a reason.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's
Um
quite important.
what I know we had other things to talk about because we were talking about the microbe of the belly of the of the stomach, digestive tract, and how it deals with IBS and autism. And it makes sense when you think about the way that the brain is signaling to the stomach and the way that the brain is already like wired a certain way. So it's not going to be functioning in a consistent neurotypical, you know, body. Doesn't mean it's not healthy. It's just different. Um,
Hmm.
but I feel like that's a good start when it comes to bodily disorders, because if you don't keep the stomach and the brain in check, in alignment with one another, you then start to, yeah, develop immune disorders on top of it, you know. um
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like, there's a reason why, this is important and valuable information, and why it does correlate with one another,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah. And it is a struggle, unfortunately,
Yeah.
especially if you also have ADHD, because that
Yeah.
also adds its own fun flavor into the mix, like forgetting to eat at the right time if you're busy with something, which I've been doing a lot recently,
It's
which is
literally
unfortunate.
it's literally like you either give yourself nothing of substance or you don't give yourself shit at all.
For real. There's like no middle. Well, okay. A middle ground is hard to maintain
Maintain.
consistently. That's really what makes it difficult, is the consistency
Yeah.
or the lack thereof.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it is worth the effort. That's for sure.
Yeah, because in today's society, everything's moving so fast, and people want you to be dependable and um, obligated to certain things to uphold responsibly. And if you don't take care of your body, you're gonna really not be able to meet that. And with neurodivergent disorders, we already struggle with that as it is. So just to keep one part in check is very important. I know we were going to talk about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I can explain it in a very quick way, and if you would like me to.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
So, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a connective tissue disorder. Um, Usually, and this connective tissue disorder does not necessarily mean your ligaments, though it is a big part of it. It goes into how your body is structured and how your body naturally over time wear and tears itself. So, when we talk about practicing uh, safe ergonomics and um, daily postures and stretching. As we get older, our brain or our body, naturally gets tighter and gets worn down, and you know gravity's doing its thing, our body's doing its thing. With um autism and ADHD, usually that is, again, it's like another challenge for the body. And when you think about the brain and the stomach and how they all interact, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome doesn't just affect ligaments and tendons. It also affects your stomach and your body and how it shapes, how it distributes things, and how over time, like your body and how you function physically. And me and Muio, for example, have worked really strenuous jobs in warehouses. And with that being said, we learned like good upkeep for the body, but also at the same time, not everyone every day is consciously in their body watching every little thing that they do. They're just functioning. So I've realized that a lot of people, especially like autistic and ADHD people, who are more inclined to have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, typically struggle with good posture, the way that their bones are formed, like standing, their feet, their wrist. They usually tend to be more flexible, more bendy. Um, and because of that, we are more likely to sprain like our ankles and our wrist. get like muscle locks, things like that, that naturally over time can become worse and worse for the body. That's why you'll find a lot of autistic and ADHD people in their late 20s and early 30s already struggling being at a job 24/7 because their bodies cannot upkeep uh, longevity when it comes to standing and walking and bending, all those things. So, and you can see how much that plays a factor into productivity and functionability every day. So unfortunately, that's what another thing that we add on top of autistic people. And not every autistic person has this, but is very common. Like it's a very high percentage. So
Yeah.
yeah, and we know me. I'm bendy. I've always been bendy since I was a kid. Yeah. So I relate to like I've been learning, Muyo knows this, but like I've been going and working out with a personal trainer, and we've learned that there's certain muscles in the body that I don't even know how to isolate. And because of that, it's making my workout movements more awkward, and I'm relying on muscles that's not necessarily needed for the workout. And so we're having to pretty much start from the foundation of, okay, we got to get you in tune with feeling that muscle or feeling. And that's crazy because people look at me and they're like, they'll say like, what, you can't feel that? And I'm like, no. And then I show them like when I bend over, because Muyo knows like I can immediately touch the ground, and that's a very similar like like people where they can like full on hand palm to the ground, and their legs, people's legs will naturally bend when they bend over. Whereas like someone with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome or EDS, they typically like their whole legs will stay straight. I can pop my joints out of pocket. So there's shit like that. That's like when I stand in a way that does not align my hips and my spine. So over time, you got to think like gravity and strain and natural wear and tear is just grinding and, breaking down the structure of the body. And
Mm-hmm.
so you'll find a lot of people popping and, like I waddle when I walk because it's because of how my feet are shaped, and it hurts to be on my feet, 10 hours a day for anyone. But I'm, 26 years old, and I feel like I have the bone structure on my feet similar to like a 40 to 50-year-old person because of how hard it is for me to walk. Um, it's just weird. It's so fucking weird. I feel like being autistic is like constantly being a young person and like an old person in a young person's body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do feel like that.
But another weird thing about EDS is that some people have really stretchy skin.
Oh God. I
Yeah.
could not imagine that. I'm trying to imagine it and that
Like they can take their neck and they'll just be like, "Oh, look, yeah." Like it's just
oh my God.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
Dagon. Think about Dagon. Like it
oh dear.
yeah. It's weird.
The human body and all of its interesting quirks and features.
It's just yeah, like
That's gonna be fun when you get old.
yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
like I think about autistic people and I'm like when they're in the womb and like all their data is like processing and everything, like what is happening? Like is it just like constantly glitching out and then that's why we end up the way we are? I don't get it.
Maybe we will have a definitive answer at some point in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Scientists are certainly trying, at least.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I just don't want to constantly be like, I don't want like people who are like different than neurotypical people just seen as like always like an anomaly or a problem or something that has to be fixed. Also, it's like, why can't people just accommodate to like the way that other people function? That's something that is, you know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah, the full agree. Like, we're just wired differently. We're
We're
not
just,
any less. We're built different.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. We devour. Ah. Hmm. You said
Well,
another. Oh, you said Rett. That was the other one, and I read a little bit about it. Yeah, that one's interesting because I feel like that's like I've only met one person that has that who was autistic, and it was actually a boy. It wasn't even a girl.
interesting.
Yeah. But I told you this before. Growing up for me, like I was always delayed motor wise too. So, hmm.
Yeah. I think at the moment, given that we've been recording for about an hour, might be a good time to end the episode. So thank you for listening in on another episode. We hope that you have gained some insight, as apparently we both have gained insight on this episode. Thank you for listening. Make sure to join us next time and take care. Goodbye.
Bye.